I remember the exact second the alarms went off, because space is never supposed to surprise us like this. One moment, the sky was quiet, predictable, mapped down to decimals. The next, a silent object from beyond our solar system shattered every assumption we had. No warning, no announcement, just data flashing red across screens at NASA, ESA, and observatories around the world. An interstellar visitor had arrived, and it was moving fast.
I was staring at a star chart when the first alert appeared. At first, it looked like a routine anomaly, one of those false positives that astronomers dismiss dozens of times a week. A smudge of light, a strange trajectory, something that didn't quite fit. But then the calculations updated, and my stomach dropped. This object wasn't bound to the sun. It wasn't orbiting anything we know. It was passing through. That's when the designation appeared on the screen. 3I/Atlas. The third confirmed interstellar object ever detected entering our solar system, following the ghosts of Oumuamua and 2I/Borisov. But this one was different. Immediately, terrifyingly different. I watched the numbers refresh in real time. Velocity far above typical comet speeds. An inbound angle that ignored the flat plane of the solar system, slicing through like a blade. This wasn't something born here. This was a traveler, older than Earth's oceans, older than our moon, possibly older than the sun itself. The alarms weren't for danger in the Hollywood sense. No collision course. No extinction event. The alarms were for something far more unsettling. We didn't expect it, and we almost missed it. Atlas, the asteroid terrestrial impact last alert system, was designed to protect Earth. For telescopes scanning the skies every clear night, hunting for threats. And yet 3I/Atlas slipped into our neighborhood quietly, revealing itself only when it was already deep inside the inner solar system. That realization hit me hard. If something like this could arrive unseen, what else has passed us by? As data poured in, scientists around the world stopped what they were doing. Late-night calls, emergency meetings, observatories ret-asking their instruments. Even the James Webb Space Telescope entered the conversation, not for defense but for answers. I could almost feel the collective breath of the scientific community being held. Because interstellar objects are not just rocks. They are messages. They are fragments of other star systems, systems that formed planets, maybe oceans, maybe life. When we study them, we are not just studying motion and chemistry. We are touching places we will never reach. And 3I/Atlas was screaming secrets. Its brightness fluctuated in ways we didn't expect. Its light curve hinted at an unusual shape, possibly elongated, possibly irregular, possibly tumbling through space with no stable rotation. That alone brought back uncomfortable memories of Oumuamua, the first interstellar object that left scientists arguing for years about what it truly was. Comet with no tail. An asteroid behaving like neither. Now here we were again. But this time, the instruments were better. The response was faster. The stakes felt higher. I remember reading the first spectral analysis results and feeling a chill. The surface composition didn't perfectly match known solar system bodies. There were hints, only hints, of volatile materials that shouldn't survive long journeys through interstellar radiation. Yet here they were, still present. How long had this object been traveling? Millions of years? Billions? Had it passed other stars while Earth was still molten? Had it drifted through the galaxy while dinosaurs ruled this planet? While humans learned to speak? While rockets finally clawed their way into orbit? That thought humbled me in a way nothing else ever has. NASA officials were careful with their words. No speculation. No sensational claims. But behind the calm briefings, I could sense the urgency. Every hour mattered. The object was moving fast, and it wouldn't stay long. Once it passed the sun, it would be gone forever, back into the dark between stars. One chance. That's all we get with visitors like this. I imagined astronauts aboard Artemis missions, training just months earlier, never knowing that while they prepared to return humans to the moon, something ancient and foreign was already slipping past Mars, invisible to the naked eye. Space doesn't announce itself. It just arrives. And sometimes, it reminds us how small we are. As I leaned back from the screen, One thought refused to leave my mind. This wasn't fear. It was awe mixed with discomfort. If 3I/Atlas triggered alarms simply by existing, then maybe the universe has been knocking on our door for a very long time, and we're only just learning how to listen. The moment 3I/Atlas was confirmed, time stopped meaning what it used to. In space science, we usually think in years, decades, even centuries. But this time, we were thinking in hours. Every calculation reminded us of the same brutal truth. This object was not staying. It was already on its way out. I watched simulation after simulation trace its path through the solar system. A hyperbolic orbit. No return. No second chance. Once it curved around the sun, gravity would give it one final shove, and it would vanish back into interstellar darkness, carrying its secrets with it. That's when the urgency truly hit me. Telescopes across the planet pivoted almost in unison. Chile, Hawaii, the Canary Islands. Even radio observatories joined the effort, listening for anything at all that didn't belong. This wasn't routine observation anymore. This was triage for cosmic knowledge. I kept thinking about how fragile our opportunity was. One clouded night, one delayed command, one miscalculated exposure time. That's all it would take to lose something that had traveled across the galaxy just to brush past us. NASA's internal briefings were calm on the surface, but I could hear the tension between the lines. The James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's most powerful eye in space, was being discussed carefully. Webb doesn't turn quickly. Every second of its time is precious. But 3I/Atlas was forcing a question we rarely ask out loud. What is more important than understanding where we come from? Preliminary models suggested the object wasn't just fast. It was exceptionally fast, even by interstellar standards. That meant it likely originated from a violent system, maybe a young star cluster where planets collide, or a dying star that tore its surroundings apart. This wasn't debris drifting gently into our neighborhood. This was something ejected, thrown out, exiled. And now, here it was, crossing paths with a civilization that had just learned how to leave its own planet. As new images arrived, the object's behavior became even stranger. Its brightness spiked and dipped without a clear pattern. No classic comet tail. No predictable outgassing. Just subtle changes that hinted at activity beneath the surface, like something waking up after a long sleep. I felt a strange connection to it. Not because it was alive, but because it had endured. Radiation, collisions, the cold emptiness between stars. It survived all of that, only to be noticed in the final moments of its visit. That irony stayed with me. I thought about Artemis, about humans preparing to step onto the moon again, building a future presence beyond Earth. And here was 3I/Atlas, a reminder that space is not just something we explore. It's something that interacts with us, whether we're ready or not. Some scientists quietly raised uncomfortable questions. Could this object carry organic molecules? Could interstellar objects be natural delivery systems, spreading the building blocks of life from star to star? No one said it publicly in bold headlines, but the idea hung in the air. Because if that's true, then the story of life on Earth might not be confined to Earth at all. As the sun's gravity began to bend the object's path, solar radiation intensified its surface reactions. Instruments detected faint signatures, carbon-based compounds, traces consistent with primordial material. Nothing definitive, nothing sensational, but enough to make my heart race. This wasn't proof of life. It was proof of possibility. And possibility is dangerous in the best way. I imagined future generations discovering dozens, even hundreds of interstellar visitors, cataloging them like we catalog comets today. But we weren't there yet. We were still beginners, still learning how to catch the universe whispering as it passes by. 3I/Atlas was already fading. Each night it grew dimmer, faster, more distant. Data gaps began to appear. The sky doesn't care about our schedules. And space does not wait. I realized something then, something unsettling and beautiful at the same time. This object didn't come here for us. We were just lucky enough to notice. And as it slipped away, I couldn't shake the feeling that 3I/Atlas wasn't an ending. It was a warning, or maybe an invitation. Proof that the boundary between our solar system and the rest of the galaxy is thinner than we like to believe. The universe had reached into our neighborhood, and next time we might not have minutes to react. There was a moment late into the night when I stopped looking at the data and just stared at the black space behind it. Because 3I/Atlas wasn't just changing charts and equations. It was changing the way I thought about our place in the universe. For decades, we've told ourselves a comforting story. That the solar system is a kind of island. That most dangers come from within. Asteroids we can track. Comets we can predict. Orbits that repeat like clockwork. But 3I/Atlas didn't follow our rules. It came from nowhere we were watching. And that realization felt heavy. As updated trajectory models rolled in, one fact became impossible to ignore. This was not a rare fluke. The math suggested something far more unsettling. Interstellar objects could be passing through our solar system far more often than we detect them. Most are simply too small, too dark, too fast. We're not being visited once in a century. We're being visited all the time. That thought made my skin prickle. Because if that's true, then 3I/Atlas wasn't special because it came here. It was special because we finally noticed. I thought back to Oumuamua. How it confused everyone. How some called it a comet, others an asteroid, and a few dared to whisper something more exotic before being dismissed. We promised ourselves we'd be ready next time. Better instruments, faster response, less guesswork. Now next time had arrived. And even now, with all our technology, we were still scrambling. The discussion shifted from observation to implication. If objects like 3I/Atlas are ejected from other star systems, then planetary systems are messy, violent places. Worlds collide. Orbits collapse. Material gets thrown into the galaxy like cosmic shrapnel. Every interstellar object is evidence of chaos somewhere else. That idea stuck with me. It meant our solar system isn't unique in its violence or beauty. It's part of a galaxy-wide process of creation and destruction. Stars are born, planets form, systems break apart, and fragments wander forever. Some of them find us. Spectroscopic readings continued to deepen the mystery. The chemical fingerprints hinted at materials that formed in conditions different from our own sun's early years. Different temperatures, different radiation environments, different history. Holding that data felt like holding soil from another world. I couldn't stop imagining where it came from. A red dwarf system with tightly packed planets. A binary star tearing its own debris apart. A long-dead sun whose final convulsions sent 3I/Atlas screaming into interstellar night. Every possibility carried a story older than humanity itself. And we had days, maybe weeks, to read it. NASA scientists spoke carefully to the public, but internally urgency escalated. Not fear, not panic, something quieter and more intense. Responsibility, because this object wasn't just passing by Earth. It was passing by history. I thought about future textbooks, about how one line might mention 3I/Atlas as the moment humanity realized interstellar space isn't empty. That it's active, dynamic, connected. That realization hit me harder than any asteroid threat ever could. Because danger can be tracked. But meaning changes everything. As more observatories joined the effort, one uncomfortable question surfaced again and again. If interstellar objects can arrive without warning, what does that mean for planetary defense? Atlas caught this one. Barely. But what if the next one is smaller, faster, darker? The universe doesn't send invitations. It sends reminders. I felt a strange mix of awe and humility. For all our achievements, Mars rovers, moon landings, space telescopes unfolding a million miles away, we are still beginners. Still craning our necks upward, hoping not to miss what matters. 3I/Atlas wasn't hostile. It wasn't alive. It wasn't watching us. But it didn't need to be. Its existence alone forced us to confront a truth we'd been quietly avoiding. The boundary between us and the rest of the galaxy is an illusion. Material crosses it freely, constantly, invisibly. We are not isolated. We are exposed. As the object dimmed further, slipping beyond the reach of smaller telescopes, I felt something close to loss. Not because it was gone, but because of how briefly we had it. A messenger from another star system, here and then gone, leaving behind questions heavier than answers. I closed my eyes and imagined its journey continuing. Past Neptune, past the Kuiper Belt, back into the black, carrying with it a silent record of our sun's gravity, our instruments, our curiosity. And I realized something that stayed with me long after the screens went dark. The universe is not quiet. We just haven't been listening long enough. By now, 3I/Atlas had become more than data points on a screen. It was a phantom in the sky, a fleeting visitor that forced everyone, scientists, engineers, enthusiasts, to confront a question we rarely ask aloud. What does it mean to witness something older than our civilization, hurtling past us at unimaginable speeds? I remember the first time I saw a live feed from one of the major observatories tracking it. The image was faint, almost ghostly, a small streak of light cutting diagonally across a black canvas. And yet, in that thin line, I could feel the weight of billions of years. The universe had sent us a messenger, and it was already slipping through our fingers. Telescopes that normally study exoplanets were now pivoted, some of the most sensitive instruments humanity had ever built focused on this single traveler. Time wasn't on our side. Each hour meant distance lost, clarity fading. Every missed observation was a secret the universe would reclaim. I followed the trajectory updates with obsessive attention. The math was beautiful, terrifying, almost cruel. 3I/Atlas was leaving a path through the inner solar system that no human could replicate. A hyperbolic arc around the sun, whipping past Mars, skimming the asteroid belt, racing past Earth. We could track it, photograph it, study it, but we could not touch it. We could not stop it. It was freedom incarnate. Scientists debated feverishly over its composition. Observatories measured the light it reflected. Spectrometers analyzed its faint emissions. Models tried to explain its irregular rotation, the strange dips and flares in brightness, hints that the object was tumbling unpredictably through space. Some suggested it was elongated like Oumuamua or even binary, two bodies orbiting each other as they fled the sun. Every new data point added to the mystery, and every answer raised more questions. I thought about what it must have seen, traveling between stars, maybe scraping past other systems, bearing witness to events we could only dream of understanding. Perhaps it carried particles from long-dead worlds, material older than Earth's crust. Maybe comets and asteroids in its home system collided, and it escaped the debris storm, wandering alone for millions of years. And yet here it was, in our neighborhood for a brief, shining moment. I realized then that we were not just observing an object. We were observing a chronicle of cosmic history, compressed into a streak of light visible from Earth for a handful of nights. Some of the brightest minds began speculating on its origin. Could it be from a star system that once resembled our own? Could it have been flung out by planetary chaos in a system that had planets, maybe even life, now lost to time? No one knew, but the very act of asking the question changed everything. It made our universe feel alive, dynamic, and profoundly connected. Meanwhile, amateur astronomers joined the chase, pointing backyard telescopes toward the streaking visitor. Social media lit up with images, simulations, and theories. The world was watching. For a moment, humanity paused, not because of danger, but because of awe. I felt a strange kinship with the people tracking it. There was a shared understanding. In these moments, the vastness of space is not abstract. It's personal. It's immediate. It reminds you how small we are, how young we are, and yet how capable of wonder we can be. NASA engineers discussed missions that could chase future objects like this. A spacecraft capable of rapid interception, sampling material from objects traveling from other star systems. Something we might never achieve with 3I/Atlas, but could be prepared for the next visitor. It was a race against time, against distance, against the universe itself. As 3I/Atlas slipped past the orbit of Jupiter, the images grew smaller, the signals fainter. Even our most powerful telescopes struggled to catch it. And still, I kept watching because for all the data and graphs, there was something almost spiritual about witnessing a ghost of another system passing through ours. We were spectators. Observers of a universe that does not pause for us, does not wait for our readiness, and yet occasionally offers a glimpse into the unimaginable. And I knew with certainty that this was not the last time we would see something like this. The universe would send more messengers, faster, more unpredictable, perhaps carrying more answers or questions we weren't ready for. 3I/Atlas had arrived, reminded us how small we were, and left before we could fully comprehend it. But it left a mark, a whisper from the galaxy that said, "Look up, pay attention, and understand that we are never truly alone."